was 1.3 million when I bought Graham shares in June 2010. So this sort of local myth that these debts are being created, it seems, in the last few weeks is a myth. The football club, like many, many football clubs in the country, is running with debt on the balance sheet. The strategy that I took in 2010 was, in relation to the council, was that we bumped into leaseholders called Richardson Brothers, which is capital, a large development company based in the West Midlands. My strategy for the football club that evolved as a local, we thought I could improve it, was that we wanted to take it back to the people of Hereford by enhancing facilities for supporters and the like. Graham was superb in his football, but there would be question marks about how he engrossed the county of Herefordshire and businesses he needed to lead. In my terminology, Graham was a 3 o'clock Saturday night to 3 o'clock Saturday. Talked out by other people's agendas, if I put it that way, throughout the last 18 months, where, ironically, tragically, local people have talked the club down to the limit. And actually, it was no different, no worse than it had been for probably 25 years in terms of level of debt. And in some cases, it was better, because we had the leases back in the club's hands. The delay, the time lapse, etc. was frustrating. We had several large companies talking to us which couldn't be completed because we hadn't quite completed negotiations with these. And I'm grateful that Jeff Hughes was stepping in again because we lost the telecoms deal, which is satellites on the phone lines, which would have been £130,000 or so. We lost that because they could find around to make the leases and the conflict of 30 years.
We're going to read out the recommendations, and you can either vote on them one by one, or you could take them as a block, if you like that.
Well, I will move that it's one by one, Chair.
I support that as well.
We can vote on them one by one, that's all right. I'll read the one first, and then we'll be finished. Thank you for your return. Just for a point of order, as you might say, you are now on camera. If you don't wish to be, move out of the line or indicate that you are allergic to being filmed. And I'm sure you're being recorded as well. Now, let's also point out on page 45, you can see the actual piece of ground that is up for a lease, which is the football ground, and some little bits around about it, outlined in red. I believe that extends or not, and the rest will remain in the council's possession. But it is very, I think, important to remember that. Mr. Burgess, do you have any more you want to add to that particular remark?
No, just to back you up on that, confirm it's just a lease of the stadium, so the developable areas are not being leased to anybody at this time.
Thank you very much indeed, I think that's very important. I now have recommendations that I'd like you to vote on, or amend if you think they should be, but preferably give me your views on them as a confirmation. Recommendation 1, that there should be proper assessment of whether it will be beneficial in any future leases for the council to retain a right to exercise a break clause in the event of 1, a change of ownership, change of control, and or 2, professional football ceases to be played at the ground, and that any lease should include appropriate safeguards in the event of a hostile takeover of a corporate tenant. Are you content with that? Are you all in favour? Can you please signify? Any against? Abstentions? Thank you. 2. That the primary objective when considering proposals for the football ground should be to secure the continuation of professional football. All those in favour? Any against? Any abstentions? You can't be, are you abstaining and proposing? You agree?
I'm sorry. I was abstaining because I was going
Oh, you're abstaining, sorry.
to add a word there.
Did you want to add a word or?
Well, continuation of professional football and other sports I was going to add because I think for it to work well,
Yes.
to be able to do that.
So, an amendment, then continuation of professional football and or
Other sports.
other sporting activities.
Yes, fine.
The recommendation as it stands, I suggested it covers that because it says the primary objective is for football. It can have hundreds of other objectives.
Well, you're probably right, actually. The legal friend.
Well, firstly, the reference to the primary objective talks about professional football, so you're requiring a certain standard, whereas I rather suspect that other sports is played there probably wouldn't be professional standard. If you look at the other suggested resolutions, they do make reference to the supporting of football and sport in the county, so that the references to other sports are placed elsewhere in these recommendations. So
Well, it would be consistent, would it not, to add those words there?
it's the inclusion of the word professional which makes football, if you like, a special case, in my view.
Okay.
So are you now content with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 3. That compelling and exceptional justification should be required to persuade the council to relinquish development rights and that the new lease should only extend to the football pitch with use of the stands and other facilities. Are you content with that? You show, please. Do you want to make a remark?
Yeah, just need another moment to look at this. Just clear this up for me. It's if development goes on within those ends, within what we're saying here, could it mean that they wouldn't have to make a stand there? If development went on, do they have to oblige by making a stand so we can view from that end of the ground? I'm just looking at this and someone help me out here, please. Am I making any sense or not? Right, okay.
Not a lot, I think. But, Councillor,
Can I just ask? I understand that the two ends are not being leased, right, so I'm clear on that. But does that preclude a licence for use? Because historically, football fans like to stand behind the goal with the goals. That's just a fact of life. That's where they like to stand.
I don't think it precludes that.
So, whereas
It doesn't preclude it.
So they can still have the continuation of being able to go to a football match and stand in there, and that's the real issue.
Chairman, if I might refer to page 45, at the bottom there's a little legend that's area 2, which is the area marked in green, with access rights afforded.
Thank you, that's clarified by my...
And also area 3 access rights afforded.
Of course, yes.
And you've got the floodlights as well, which are in outside, yes?
It is important to remember that you create a break you just have two side stands, as it were. From a security point of view, if football club got to a level where you had
Even closer towards the green.
anyway, from a security point of view, I mean, there has to be all round the ground has to be available to any football club. You could just have the two sides.
I don't think that's intended at all, anyway. It's just to control the actual conditions of the ground. And so we are all in favour then of 3. Will you show, please? Thank you very much. Any abstentions? Any against? 4. That any profits generated by the development of the ground, whether by the council or another, should be invested for the benefit of the county and, in particular, to support football and sport in the county. football meet Football Association requirements? Councillor?
Chairman, on that, this alludes to my comments at the end of the debate. I thought we were going to seek advice from the Football Association over the possible inclusion of suitable clauses in a lease.
Well, I think that probably includes that, doesn't it?
Sorry?
I think you said...
It says Football Association requirements. But like I say, they have got, from what I heard from Mr. Watson, they've got suitable...
Yes, I think we can allow... I think that can be bound into that. I'm sure that...
Yeah, I'm just suggesting slight rewording that we seek the advice of the Football Association over the possible inclusion of suitable clauses in the lease.
Do you think that's... I think we may be muddying the waters. Councillor Kenny.
I'm just looking at the one bit where it says lease and rent of football association. The Football Association requirement, the local government requirement is a stadium safety certificate. Now, if we're just going a bit in the middle, obviously it falls to, and we should have to keep either end up to a standard so it meets that safety certificate. So there's one thing to be clear, if we're saying that's what we're going to do, that is what we're going to have to do to keep whoever goes in the best opportunity. So that's a clarification on that, and I'm happy to stick my mitt over it.
Are you happy with that?
That's subject to the Sports Grounds Act anyway, Chair.
Yes, I think it's probably covered. Leader? I think I'm happy with that too. Yes?
Yeah. Looking at number 6, and going to continue what Councillor Wilcox has said, I propose that League Football Association and require safety requirements.
Chairman, I'd like to leave it as it is, and I move that we vote on number 6.
That the executive.
Chairman, before you vote, I suggest it should read that the executive should, these are your recommendations and members to the executive.
That's a good point. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, the executive ensure that any leases for this and football meet Football Association requirements. Can we all vote for that? Yeah. Thank you. All in favour? Any against? No abstentions. 7.
I don't see how you can pass this because you're asking someone involved in a situation to favour one particular organisation as opposed to another. And by the very nature, quite honestly, you couldn't have a affiliated club because they have to be, by the very nature, to be a member of the FA, a profit. Without any arrangements for profit, you must quite honestly rule out having football.
Could we have some legal clarification on this particular recommendation?
If I can start, and then perhaps if others can contribute. What I was envisaging here was that this wasn't necessarily tied, well, it certainly wasn't, couldn't tie the hands of the executive in determining the outcome of the current process where we've invited expressions of interest. But there might be scope for more than one organisation having use of the ground. Now, it's probably been rather clumsily worded by me, so if Donna or others can find a means of improving the wording, this wasn't meant to tell the executive to grant a new lease to a not-for-profit. It was meant to try and leave room, as it were, for the possibility of not-for-profit organisations being involved. Now, if that hasn't captured the intent of the member who proposed that, I apologise, but that was my thought process, for better or worse.
Councillor Lloyd-Hayes?
And yes, I wonder if you took out not-for-profit, but voluntary sector and charitable organisations.
Does that meet in favour from the committee? I think it's too wide. Now, Councillor Kenyon, you had some suggestion to make? ground.
Yeah, so I just think, like Councillor James said, just take it out. Let's vote on it, but I just think it doesn't need to be there.
It would need a proposal and second. So if
You propose it? You have a second now? Check to remove item. That's absolutely right, Councillor Hens. I got ahead of myself rather. But basically, you would like item 7 deleted. Are you all in favour of that? Coming to the new item 7, that the executive look favourably on proposals that include for the provision of education and training for young people. Are you all agreed on that? Thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? And we have now the new item 8, that if more than one lease is to be granted, all should have a consistent end date. And at the moment there's only one lease being granted. But are you all in favour of that proposal? Thank you. Presume there are no discrepancies on that? No dissensions? No abstentions? Good.
Just come back slightly. With that lease, you talk about the bit in the middle again, obviously. But the other two, are we talking about if the other two go ahead and the council goes ahead and gets a lease in either end, they've got to finish the same time as the lease in the middle? Is that what we talk about?
Yes, but at the moment, it just says if more than one lease is to be granted, yes, they should all have a consistent end date.
Well, at the minute, you're going to offer one to 2017, and if you're going to get development at either end, it ain't going to work, is it?
Yeah, well, it's very theoretical, I think. It's just to be a safety measure, I think. It's to stop idiocies happening.
I mean, it is possible if you grab a 10-year lease and 3 years down, 7-year lease to coincide with it.
Yes, it is just to make sure we are consistent in the term of the leases, if there are leases.
Well, would you like to suggest an improvement to the draft, which is if more than one lease is to be granted, consideration given to them all having a consistent end date.
That sounds extremely good. Thank you. That is good. I say we are okay with that. Are we all agreed? No one against? No one abstaining. And the new item 9, or consider recommendation 9, that in advance of any longer term decisions, the Scrutiny Committee be invited to consider future arrangements as part of its work programme for 2015-2016. Everyone in favour? Thank you very much indeed. Well, that is the main part of the business over. We only have now the last bit of the agenda, which is the draft work programme, to consider the committee's work programme. But I think we might leave that to the committee meeting on the 10th of March, 10 o'clock, Tuesday, Shire Hall, where we can consider the work programme properly. Thank you very much for your excellent input, your patience, and your diligence. And I hope these will lead to a good state for football and the council and the citizens of Herefordshire in the future, in the sporting world of Herefordshire. Beyond the council. Thank you. I declare the meeting closed at 20 minutes to 1. I think you have now a way forward, have you not?
Oh yes, absolutely. You know, it's just getting this final week out the way and getting the leases and going forward.
Terribly important. And professional, well, semi-professional to start with?
It'll be semi-professional to start with, and then we'll basically build up as we progress back up through the leagues.
So, good. So you're going to be a big shark in a small fish tank with it?
Well, hopefully, yes.
Win lots of games?
Yes, that's
How
the
far
plan.
can you go, do you think?
The world is our oyster.
It is? Premiership?
Well,
perhaps that might be...
We might need a slightly bigger stadium.
I think you might. But even so, it might take, how long do you think to get into a proper league, as you might say? That actually pay the football club?
I mean, to get back to the conference where the football club was last season, that's 4 divisions now. So that's 4 years is the minimum, and there are obviously the level we're expected to start at. There's only one guaranteed promotion place, so if you don't get that top spot, it can be a squeeze.
Yes.
I mean, you know, Chester got back to that level in 5 years, I believe.
Good work.
You know, they really did go for it, and that would be our aim.
Yeah. And after that, you would hope to get back into the league if.
The conference is a big step up. I mean, you go from what was semi-professional leagues to the conference, where it is 20 to 24 teams are full time.
Yes.
So you've got to make that transition back to full time.
It's a big league.
So you've got to really stabilise in the conference, because the one thing Chester found is that they went up, but they didn't stabilise, and effectively on the final day of the season we won. So they got relegated, although they then subsequently stayed up. So they've got to make that transition. They're in that period now. But what the great thing is that over the last 10 years or so, other clubs have followed this route and have had to reform, and so there are stories out there that that other clubs have learned the lesson, that they've made mistakes going up, and we've gone to visit them. We've gone to visit Merthyr. I mean, they're in their third year since the Reformation. They're at the top of their division, and it is just a case of almost the first question we ask in every case is, what did you do wrong?
Yes.
And
what went right? Right.
Yeah, and we are just learning left, right, and centre.
Good. It's definitely a big, long learning session, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's going to be a long time, and it's going to be hopefully a good fun.
And have you got players lined up?
No, nothing at the moment.
Nothing at all at the moment. The main thing is get the leases first.
I mean the leases are key to absolutely everything. Obviously, UITC, they have an under-18s. Well, they have 2 under-18 sides. Obviously, they're going to hit the 18-year-old mark, where they're going to start looking to play senior football.
Yes.
And we hope that would become the basis for our team.
Yes. And you have finance in place?
Yes, we have finance in place. We have
expensive game.
Yeah, absolutely.
£100,000 a year to run a ground like Edgar Street?
It can cost £100,000 a year, but the good thing is, we have the community behind us.
Yes.
So we have 150 volunteers already.
That's good.
We have a safety officer who previously was a £40,000 commitment from the club, who is now going to work for free.
Wonderful.
We have the pitch has been offered for free for next season, so the maintenance of that's 15, 20, 30,000 pounds. We are cutting all these costs out. And because we're starting at such a low level, and everybody wants it to happen.
Good. Well, I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to coming to see one of your matches too.
Absolutely.
Perhaps the crucial match when you go up.
Hopefully. Every season.
Perhaps even your first match as well. Do let me know. But I do wish you well. And I think Hereford will be, Herefordshire will be very proud of you one day.
I hope so too.
It's great.
Thank you.